guys, my name is Teacher Jacqueline and welcome to Journey with Jacqueline. In today's episode, we are going to be talking all about extension in the classroom. So, how can you extend your lessons? What is the process that I use to distinguish the level of extensions that my students are ready for? Stay tuned, because it's all coming up right now. Okay, so when it comes to extension, I base my extension and pretty much all my teaching methods and getting kids to reach their goals from Bloom's Taxonomy. And if you are not familiar with what Bloom's Taxonomy is, you're like, what in the world is she talking about? Bloom's Taxonomy is a classification system used to define and distinguish different levels of how we process information, how we learn new information. Okay, so there's basically 6 different levels, and our goal as educators is to get our students up to the very top of the pyramid of Bloom's Taxonomy. So at the very bottom of the pyramid is the remember stage. Then after that comes the understanding stage, then application, and whenever you analyze your information, evaluating your information, and last but not least, creating something based on everything that you have learned. What I'm going to do with you today is basically give you an example of how I would walk through the pyramid with my students, getting them to climb all the way to the top so that I know that not only do they understand this topic or this subject, whatever it is that we're covering, but they are going to be able to apply it in their lives and actually be able to use it, because that's the whole goal of getting them up to that top of the pyramid, is to that create stage where they're actually able to create their own material. Hello, speak, right? Creating their own sentences, creating their own ideas, phrases, applying everything that they know so that they're able to speak English. So I am going to walk you through actual examples of how I use this in the classroom using a topic that's pretty generalized. The topic that we're going to be talking about is animals, okay? Animals is something that you kind of see all the way throughout all of your levels, so this is the topic that I'm going to hit on and use as an example. Now, it's very important for me to mention that Bloom's Taxonomy really aligns with everything that VIPKid, at least in my opinion, from what I've seen and from my professional background, it's aligning with everything that they're basing their curriculum on as well. So many of their main course lessons are based on a teaching system called IPAED, which is to introduce, practice, apply, extend, and then demonstrate knowledge, okay? So that totally lines up with the pyramid, okay? Same basic concept. So the first level is remembering, just remembering your information, okay? So recalling it, defining it, and being able to just memorize the vocabulary words, okay? So let's say that you are trying to get the student to memorize dog and cat. I dropped something. You're trying to get them to memorize dog and cat. These are your vocabulary words. So you would have them repeat dog, cat, and something that I do fun with my kids is I kind of bring them up like dog, cat. Yes, because if they don't have the basics, there's no way you're going to extend with them. But if you feel like they are ready to step it up and they know the vocabulary words, now you want to make sure that they know how to spell them. What I do with some of my students is we start maybe like a tic-tac-toe board, okay? And we have dog, cat, and then whatever other words we're learning, we'll plug them in, and then at the very end of class, we'll play tic-tac-toe just very quickly, and I make sure that they know all the words so that they met that remember stage. And this is just one example. Now, let's say you're dealing with, because this is more for lower level, let's say you're dealing with upper level. So your level 4s and level 5s have so much vocabulary to learn, okay? And what I keep is these dry erase note cards. I love them. I'm going to link them in the description box. But anyways, what I do is I write down the vocabulary words as we're going. And then at the end of class, we just review them very quickly. Or if there's one that I'm noticing they're having a hard time with pronunciation, I make sure to review with them this way.
I forgot to mention this originally, and I want to add it in real quick because it's something I love to do with my kiddos. I write down their vocabulary words and CBC combinations, and throughout class, I will roll the dice and have them read the words. And it's just a quick little activity to make sure that they know their vocabulary words and they're able to recall this information.
And I know you're thinking, well, how is this extension, Jacqueline? Well, sometimes you need to extend just on the very basic level, which is them memorizing the words, okay? Because in the lesson, it just has you say them maybe once or twice, but you want to extend even just on that very basic level, because if they can't get just that basic information, there's no way they're going to be able to get anything above that. So this is how I do basic, simple extensions for the remember level. The next level of Bloom's taxonomy is understanding. So making sure that your students not only can recognize the words that they're learning, but understand what they are. So being able to identify the words in written form or by seeing the pictures, describing them, recognizing them, explaining them. This all comes like in your practice section of the lesson based on the IPAED platform that VIPKid has, or formatting that VIPKid has. This comes in that practice section. So a lot of it is integrated into your lessons, but you can further extend to make sure that they really understand what it is you're talking about. So let's say that you have a pig and a rooster. So for my lower levels, I could ask something very basic. I'm talking about level 1, okay? So we have a pig. What sound does the pig make? Okay, and then you demonstrate the sound. So now they have a sound to connect with it. So you just extend it a little bit, and now they understand when I see a pig, if I make the sound, the student will remember, oh, pig, okay? Now let's move it up to a little bit of a higher level, so 2s and 3s. Okay, so we have a pig, which is a mammal. We all know we teach that in level 3. And we have a rooster, which is a bird. Okay, so we can make sure they understand that a pig is a mammal, a rooster is a bird. Now, why is a pig a mammal? Why? And then we point out something about the pig that makes them a mammal. Well, they have babies. They have live young. Okay, a rooster. Why is a rooster a bird? Well, roosters have feathers. Okay, boom. And now we can recognize that they understand why this is a mammal and a bird. Okay, and then when we're getting up to those higher levels for the understanding, it's kind of talking about it. Like, have you seen pigs? Where do you see pigs? What kind of animals are pigs? Just asking them those questions to make sure they understand what a pig is. Next is the apply level. I love the apply level because this is when I really get to see that they know this information and they can like spit out facts and spit out examples of what it is we're talking about. I have my little dog because I'm going to use this as an example. So let's say we're talking about big and small. Okay, so I say I have a big dog. I have a small dog. Okay, and then I have them show me something big and small. And you can do this with anything, and I know I'm going a little bit off the animal track, but let's say we have, so that was big and small. Let's say we're talking about length. We have short and long, and I show them a few things that are short, long, and then I say, can you show me something short and long? Short and long, and then they go find something, and then I see, okay, they can apply this knowledge. And of course, apply also comes into your sentence frames. Let's say the sentence frame is a puppy grows up to be a dog. A puppy grows up to be a dog. What does a puppy grow up to be? A puppy grows up to be a dog. Now, we can touch on something that's not in the lesson, so if you teach level 2, you're very familiar with this. We never really talk about how babies grow up to be adults, So we can say babies grow up to be children, and then children grow up to be adults, and then that's in a whole new sentence. It's the same sentence frame, but we're just extending upon that knowledge. So they're applying what they know when it comes to forming a sentence frame about whatever the subject is, but now we're just adding on another example for them. Okay, so that is the application phase Also with application, if you notice, hey, they know all this stuff, now let me quiz them a little bit, because you notice, hey, I'm kind of moving pretty fast. Look at your slides. This is what I do all the time. Look at your slides and start asking them, ooh, what do you see? I see this, I see that, I see this, I see that. And then you can just build upon it. So let's say they say, I see a dolphin. Ooh, a dolphin. Is a dolphin a mammal or a fish? Then they really have to think, oh my gosh, is it a mammal or a fish? And then that's a whole new conversation that you can have with them. Boom, easy, extension. And they're gaining new information, and they're showing you that they're applying their knowledge by identifying, what that is, and being able to say, I see this, I see that, so they're showing you that they know the content, and now we're just moving it up one step further. And so then we can extend upon that, like, well, why is a dolphin a mammal? So then you're teaching them new sentence frames and new ways to describe a dolphin. I'm kind of going to rewind because I meant to mention this with the application stage. Also what I do with my lower levels, because I'm always like, how can I get them to apply this without just showing me on the screen or me asking them little questions. You can get them to, this is level 1 and level 2 and level 3 really. I have them spell out words, or for like your level 1s, just writing the letters. So writing the letters on the screen. That's a great way for them to apply their knowledge. Okay, now we are getting into the higher levels of Bloom Taxonomy. Yay! Your student made it through those bottom levels, so now we're going to move it up, okay? So we are, the first section of those higher levels is to analyze your information. So this is when you're examining it, comparing and contrasting using charts. That's what I do, is I use a lot of charts in my classes. Sometimes VIPKid has the charts there for you. Sometimes they don't, or their charts are confusing. So you creating charts for your students is great. So I use anything from just basic charts where we're listing details about, in this case, animals, or we can use pie charts. Okay, so we're comparing quantities in some type of way. I also use charts like this, especially if we're reading a story. This is for like my older levels where we have past, present, and future. So if the story is about an animal, we're kind of writing down the details, and then to extend upon that so that I'm confirming that not only do they comprehend the information, but we're analyzing it. Then we talk about all the things that happened in the story, and we kind of compare and contrast or talk about cause and effect, like, well, if this happened in the beginning of the story, if the animal came from an egg, and then now the animal can fly, the egg hatched, they're able to fly, what was the cause and the effect, how did this happen, yada, yada, yada. You get what I'm saying, okay? So these are just a few of the charts that I like to use to extend with them with analyzing. Now again, you can analyze with any level. So I'm going to start by explaining what you would do like in levels 1 and 2, even a little bit of level 3. So let's say you have 2 animals. You have a pig and you have a dog, okay? So you can ask them questions like, what color is the pig? The pig is pink. What color is the dog? The dog is brown. They are different colors. So now they just learned a new term, different. So that is comparing and contrasting what's the same, what's different. The next level that we have on Bloom's Taxonomy is to evaluate. And this is when your student is critiquing something or giving their opinion about the subject. This is actually, to me, like the easiest way to extend because I know I'm showing you all these different charts and things that I use in my classes to extend, but sometimes you just extend on the moment and you don't have to have a whole chart. Let's say you weren't keeping track of all the animals. Well, if you have a shark and a frog, boom, and you see that this needs to extend, then do it. I just like charts because it's a visual for them, and if this is a regular student and you know that you're going to extend with them, you can have it prepped. But for the evaluate stage, it's as simple as, do you like a fish? Or do you like a frog? Now tell me why. Boom. Super simple. You're basically getting their opinion on whatever it is that you're talking about. And that's when they practice those sentence frames. Sometimes it lines up with the sentence frame, whatever it is that they're talking about. Sometimes it doesn't. But you're getting their opinion. They're kind of critiquing what it is that you're learning about. It's very simple. You're basically just asking them why. For example, I like dogs. I like dogs the most because I have a dog. And then I'll show them my dog, or I'll show them a picture of my dog, and then they're like, oh, why do you like whatever is the animal that they said they liked? Okay? Or you could ask them questions like, if you were an animal, would you be a cat or would you be a mouse? Whatever it is. And so then they can put themselves in, that position. Well, if you were a cat, why would you be a cat? If you were a mouse, why would you be a mouse? Okay, so that's kind of the evaluate portion where they're just basically forming opinions about the topic. Hooray! You are now at the create level. So you are at the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy, okay? So this is where your student is creating their own product. And again, you can do this all the way down to level 1. So this is an activity that I'm doing with one of my students right now. And basically what we're doing is we're going through the whole alphabet, doing a tic-tac-toe game. And I'll write down, a couple letters. So let's say we have A, B, C, D, or A, B, C, D. There you go. So he's going to identify just from the beginning the different letters. But let's start with letter A. Okay, what letter is this? A. Can you think of a word that starts with A? Apple. Yes. And then we write down apple. Boom. And then we do it for all the other letters. So now he literally just created something. He created our tic-tac-toe board by applying his understanding of our letters and what words start with those letters, okay? So if you were working with them, which I have been with this one student, if you've been working with them from the bottom, you've been teaching them the spelling, you've been challenging them in all those ways, so now that you're at the tippy top, they're able to do an activity like this. Okay, the create phase with your level 2s and level 3s. These are my favorite because this is when the way I really extend with this create phase is by challenging them to create their own sentences. Okay, so for example, let's say you have a level 3 and you're they're learning the I am, he is, she is, it is, you are, we are, they are. They're learning how to conjugate verbs in this form. You do this in level 2 as well. So you're going to challenge them to make a sentence. So instead of just repeating the I am walking, he is walking, she is walking, now you're going to challenge them to create a sentence. So you can even tell them, if you want a more complex sentence, make a sentence with 5 words, at least 5 words. So they can say something like, I am walking outside with my cat. I don't know why you would walk with your cat, with your dog, whatever. So now they're creating something, tying in everything that they're learning. Or let's say that it's swimming, okay? Swimming. The fish is swimming it, right? The fish is swimming very fast in the water. So they're tying in all these different vocabularies to create their own sentence. So instead of just having them read, because in the lesson that's how it is. They're just reading the conjugations. You're saying, okay, do it fast, read the conjugations. Now you're actually having them create something of their own. So that's one of my favorite things to do. And like I said, I do this with my level 2s as well. And if you want to create, if you're trying to do the create with them and maybe they're not ready to create their own sentence per se, but they can give their own example and show that they're able to create something on their own. For example, I tell the student, this is an animal, and this animal is very big animal, and this animal is pink, and this animal makes this sound. What is this animal? And then they can draw a picture of the animal. So now they just created something. They created a drawing of the animal. Okay. Okay, this is going a little bit off of the animal topic, but you always are going to be doing CBCs with your students, the consonant, vowel, consonant patterns. So something that I love to do with them in the create phase is to have them create their own CBCs. Okay, so let's say that you have the ending, which is the ig, okay, and they just choose the first letter, so they can choose whatever letter they want. They tell you the letter and then they read out ig, zig. Super simple. I love to do this with Legos, and I will always do mine like double-sided. Okay, these ones that I got are from Target. They actually have the dry erase on there, but you can use normal Legos and it works just the same. It's just you can see it better with the white on these ones. But yeah, there you go. So for your CBCs, works awesome. Now, if you're very creative and your student is like really up for the challenge, you can do something super exciting with them, like have them create their own animal, okay? And this would be more for like your upper levels, but have them create their own animal. So we're gonna create our own animal, we're gonna draw our own animal, and it's gonna be a mammal and a fish combined, okay? And so then they can take different traits that they've learned about mammals and different traits they've learned about fish to create their own animal and explain why it is a combination of these two animal groups. There you go. That is how I extended my classroom. I know starting off, extension was very difficult for me, and I wasn't really sure like how to extend or what were some cool activities I could do to extend, but these are just some examples of things that I do in my classroom, and I hope it's something that you can use. And if some of the stuff is like, I don't want to do this, I can't do this, I don't like this, that's okay. You know, give it your own twist and make it something that you can do. And with all that being said, I have a series going on called Fun Fridays, where every Friday I give you a reward system that is engaging and that does offer very, very great extension activities using secondary rewards. So I highly encourage you to check that out, because there's a lot of great examples on how to use extension naturally while integrating into your reward system and making it fun for the students. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Again, I hope this episode was helpful. If you have extension activities that you use in your classroom that you know others would benefit from, make sure you comment below and let us know what you use in your classroom, because we're all about sharing in this community of teaching ESL online. Thanks, guys. I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.